Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and I am so excited that you're here to catch the weekly replay of my laid-back yet very inspiring conversations with other full-time professional artists. The purpose of this series is to show aspiring artists that it is completely possible to have a great career in the arts. And if you ever want to tune in and have your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just check out the schedule over at facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy every Tuesday to catch us on live. I'll see you there. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time six-figure art business. With weekly trainings that include step-by-step proven art business techniques, plus painting tutorials from yours truly and other guest artists who are masters in their field, you will be well equipped to learn and grow into the highly skilled and highly profitable artist you know you're meant to be. I've figured out what it takes to build my own six-figure art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. It's not hard, but it does require your time and dedication. So if you're up for the challenge, go to advancedmember.com. That's advancedmember.com to learn more. This week's episode features our first returning guest artist, Laurence White. I first met Laurence about 6 months ago when he came on to chat with me live here on the podcast, and we talked all things social media. So this time, it was nice to just catch up with Laurence and see how his social media strategies are working and how he's been able to take the transition from doing art part-time to doing art the majority of the time while still taking side jobs here and there. Laurence is well on his way to becoming a completely full-time professional artist, and I think it's so interesting to talk to those who are in the middle of it all, who are doing the work and who are transitioning from the 9-to-5 and on to this amazing entrepreneur career. That's a word I actually just recently heard, which is a mix between an artist and an entrepreneur, which makes artrepreneur, which is basically what we all are if you think about it. But let me know what you think about this week's episode with Laurence White. Hi, how are you? I haven't talked to you in 6 months it's been?
Yeah,
maybe?
I was gonna say. How you okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I've been staying up late painting, so this is like early morning for me, actually.
What's the time over there?
It's like 11 a.m. But I've been staying up late painting, so I wake up at like 9 or 10 every morning. Right. So I wanted to chat with you because you mentioned that you are taking the transition into full-time artist.
Yeah, well, like, the stage I'm at the moment is that I'm doing more art now than before. Okay. And so, like, you know, I said before, I kind of work in TV as the main day job and stuff. So that's kind of like, that's become the side hustle now. And then I'm doing the art and stuff. So, yeah. Still, like, taking a few jobs here as I kind of transition, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, the kind of full focus on the art and stuff. And, yeah, it's going all right so far.
Yeah, awesome. You want to just tell us more about that? Like, how are you getting clients? I think that's kind of what our customers, I guess you could say. I think that's mainly the question that I think almost everybody wants to know. They're like, how are you doing this?
Yeah, I think like when I spoke to you before, that was, like 6 to 8 months ago. But I kind of made the decision about a year and a bit ago that I was kind of going to go full into it and just give it a go. And so over that time I've just been building kind of my social media, which I'm sure kind of you know about and stuff. And so all the kind of customers and clients and stuff that I get all literally come from my social media. So that's why I go so hard on the social media and stuff, because that's where all the clients are coming from, and that's how I can afford to do it, basically.
That's amazing. And I love that we're living in a day and age where that can happen, you know?
Yeah, right.
It's just amazing. So you're a big Gary Vee fan too, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like
you are as well, yeah?
Oh yeah, I feel like I say his name like once a week. I'm like, oh, he said this, and oh, so he
Yeah.
said that. Also, actually, while we're on the Gary Vee thing, have you heard about, obviously, if you follow him, the text message marketing thing? What do you
Yeah,
think about that?
yeah, text messaging is good. I mean, you could do it as an artist, I guess, as well, where you're texting people kind of updates of your work, or like if you're, you've got a print that you're releasing or something like that. I'm sure you can use it. But I was listening to something the other day actually, and it's actually it's quite expensive to do.
Yeah.
And so it's a platform as well. It's not like you just text out from your mobile phone. There's a platform behind it and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I'm not at a stage yet where I don't think I need to be worrying about that. And plus, I do think it's a good idea because Instagram's reach has gone down and all the other social medias apart from TikTok and LinkedIn are kind of going down at the moment. So it's a good one where you're going to push your content out and everyone's actually going to see it. But at the minute, I'm okay, sort of thing. Yeah, because it's quite expensive to do.
Right? Yeah, I was looking into it, and I signed up on a couple like free trials of some stuff just to like poke my head around. And
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
it is kind of expensive. There were some that were like, I mean, $75 a month, $150 a month. I'm like, dang, like what that like.
When you do that though, does that mean that so you'll just send as many texts as you want, or is that like the fee to actually join the?
No, so it's a
platform?
monthly plan, and it's like
Right,
I
right.
think you could maybe send like 500 texts a month with the like $50 a month plan, and then it's
Right.
like I don't know, 750 with the 75, something like that.
Yeah, there's
And
like options and stuff. Yeah, right. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and a lot of them are really cheesy because they're like, hey, text the word art to 5555 or whatever. I'm like, that just sounds like a commercial. Like that doesn't sound authentic at all. So I'm interested to see how that's going to develop in the next couple of years and how affordable it's going to be and how more like non-commercial it's going to be. But yeah.
Yeah, I think my kind of plan at the minute, I don't know about you, but it's kind of more perfectly executing on the platforms that I'm already on rather than
Yeah.
taking on a new one at the moment, because TikTok for me is still fairly new and still kind of getting used to that. So I think that's a trend that I'm trying to jump on more so than text at the
Yeah.
minute.
For sure. Yeah, that's smart. Do you want to talk about TikTok for a second? Okay, so like
I love TikTok.
me too. It's so like it's such a time suck too. I'm like, okay, I've got to put this app down.
Yeah,
Do you
right.
want to talk about maybe some things that are working for you? Some videos that you might be getting a lot of views on, or how are you growing your TikTok?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because when I went on TikTok originally, I was just posting all the same videos that I would put on Facebook and Instagram straight onto TikTok, but I realised that it wasn't really converting or doing that well. And so I was watching some of your stuff because I know you do a lot of time lapses on there, and there's a couple of other artists that were on the platform as well, and they were doing, because obviously the age is a lot younger on TikTok.
Yeah.
They were doing stuff that's a lot more simple and a lot more, I guess, satisfying to watch because it's only like 15-second videos. And so I started just basically doing drawing shapes and then just colouring them in. And that, for some reason, just seemed to explode. And I think I've had about 4 or 5 videos hit like 1 million views and stuff now. So it's like, yeah, it's mental. So yeah, the content I put on TikTok is different from what I put on here on Instagram or any other platform that I'm using.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So when you mentioned you're coloring in a shape, so like you're taking a circle and you're drawing a circle and you're just coloring in the circle in like 10
Yeah,
seconds.
gradients or like time.
Oh.
I guess probably as you found from seeing you, because you've grown literally crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think what does really well on there as well, but I paint fairly slow, is that if you can film the whole process from start to finish of a piece of artwork, that seems to do well as well. But like I said, I mean, for me, it takes me a lot of hours to do a piece. So, in fact, out of interest, how long does it take you to do one of your paintings? Because it seems like you're literally painting a piece, like a full-blown big piece.
So actually on
Every day.
TikTok, yeah, no, I could see how you would think it was like that, but those videos that I posted on TikTok recently, they've been a compilation of videos that I've taken in the past like year or 2 years or even 3 years. So on TikTok, when it was a brand new platform, I just took all of my video that I had and posted one a day. It depends. Usually I try to do a painting in a day and a half, I'd say. Maybe,
Really?
which is it depends. Like I'm looking at one right now on the other side of this camera, and that one has taken me a week at least. It just depends. But my rainbow animals, those will take like a day and a half or whatever, because they're very quick and colorful, and they're more fun. And I feel like if something's a bit more fun, you're like more into it and you get it done quicker.
Yeah, right. No, that's quick. That's good.
Yeah, TikTok has me so frustrated right now, though, because I grew so quickly because I had a couple of viral videos, and then I had one viral video the other week, and like I didn't grow at all, and I'm like, okay, what's happening?
But I think it's beginning to change again now already, because everyone, I talk about a lot on my Instagram about TikTok and stuff, and they just think it's for kids and stuff, and it is at the moment. But as you're seeing it, a lot of reality TV stars and stuff are starting to get onto it, and the platform's aging up just like Instagram did. Mm-hmm. And so I think where there's now a lot more people than there was when TikTok kind of began to blow up when we last spoke. So about 6-8 months ago. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot more people on it, filling kind of, as Gary Vee says, the pipes. So it's not as easy now to kind of reach so many people and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which it's so funny to see the TikToks that the kids are making about that, you know, they're seeing celebrities coming in and they're like, no, stay away.
Like, is that what it is?
Some of them, it's so funny. Yeah, but I think it's so cool because like just seeing like Reese Witherspoon on there, or like just a bunch of them, and you'll go to their profile and they have like 2 videos. It's just so cool to see something so early in its growth, and it's just, I feel like that doesn't happen because a lot of people will join Instagram when Instagram was already out for several years, you know, and everybody had a following.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of the same. Like a lot of kind of the music artists that I listen to when I'm painting, or like just like in general, like kind of at the minute I have more followers than them and stuff, and it's mental.
Yeah.
There's what's his name? This kid here just mentioned here. I told him to get on it a while ago, and he's nearly 100,000.
Oh yeah.
He managed to get 8 million views on a TikTok video, and that literally exploded. Yeah. So he's like about 100,000, and I kind of mentioned that to him about 5 months ago, and he's just smashed it. He's like 16 as well.
That's amazing. Oh my God. Yeah, and I watch those kids on TikTok too, like the 15, 16, 17-year-old TikTok stars, and I'm like, oh my gosh. It is so cool just to see. They're so young and they blew up so fast. Charlie.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's kind of, I don't think that brands are taking it serious yet though, because it doesn't really hit a lot of their age group sort of thing. So I don't think they fully take it serious yet. But when they do, then it will kind of blow up, I think. Yeah.
Fashion Nova and all of the like there are some on there, but not quite. I'm interested to see how it's going to grow in the next while. I need to start focusing on TikTok. I'll go through waves. I'll focus on TikTok for like 2 weeks, and then I won't for 2 weeks, and I'll go back, and I just
Have you got plenty of videos still to be posting up and stuff?
No, that's the thing. I like ran out of videos, so I'm like, okay, I gotta get creative with it.
But I think like, what are you at? You're like 200 and something thousand. Like you're going to be. I think if you had that on Instagram, I mean,
I know.
Yeah.
Like, why are they converting over? Like, kids, follow me on Instagram. Like, I'm just as cool over there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah. So, what are your plans right now? So are you currently working on the Marilyn Monroe one, or is that one finished?
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm hoping that this one will be finished today. I'll be able to get that one done. And then I'm literally running a poll on my Instagram at the moment of whether I should paint Conor McGregor, because he's got a fight coming up this month, or Muhammad Ali. And I think it's looking like Muhammad Ali, so I think I'm going to paint that next. But that's a bit of a weird way of doing it, because I usually paint by a request sort of thing. But I've got a couple of those that I'm going to work on in the background, but also I want to do some of my own stuff or stuff that I want to paint rather than, do you know what I mean? Someone telling me what they want and me doing it from there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So taking audience requests, that's smart. I mean, a lot of people will be like, I don't know what to paint. I'm like, just ask your audience. Like they're going to tell you what they want to see, you know?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of us artists too, we're like, no, I want to paint what I want to paint. But it's just, yeah, that's really smart to be listening to your audience and considering what they want.
yeah, exactly.
I think you have a question down here from Camille Duda. Camille Duda. Laurence, you sketching with the stencil style or going back to the more blended style?
So yeah, I've been playing around with, because this is a lot more of a different style to what I usually paint. I think this one I'm doing at the moment, which is a more stenciled style, it's a lot more current in that I think it's more likely that people will buy it almost. Do you know what I mean? And I think that, you know, now taking it a bit more serious and stuff, I think that's kind of the route I want to go down. Not to say that I won't do it, but I quite enjoy doing it in this style, and I think that I can do that style, so I've done it, and now it's time to try something a little bit different. Do you know what I mean? And kind of evolve a little bit. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a question, actually. I was just talking to an artist about this the other day. So since a lot of your stuff, all of your customers come from online, a lot of artists have trouble with closing the deal. So a lot of, like, they'll get a customer that'll text them and who is really interested in buying a piece from them, but for some reason they just don't buy. So what's your process of just like, so say I DM'd you on Instagram. I was like, hey, I really love this piece. How much is it? And you tell me how much it is, and then it's silence. Do you message them again? Like, how does this conversation usually come? Okay.
No, I mean, I think, like, I don't want to sound like big-headed. We're not even that. Like, I think you've got to have confidence in your own work. And I'm like, if you're not going to pay that or whatever I feel that it's worth, someone else will. And kind of fortunately, so far, that has kind of worked out. I think that they say the strongest negotiating position is to be able to walk away. And I think that's so true with the art as well. It's like, I feel like I can get this. I'm willing to walk away and not kind of look back at whether it could have been, would have been, do you know what I mean? And just focus on putting it out there more, promoting it more, and then kind of that usually works. I wouldn't focus on like trying to then claw that person back because they might not be in the position, or do you know what I mean? You'd spend more effort trying to get that person back rather than finding someone else who will just can or want to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, but so say someone is messaging you about a commission. Say they want a certain style of painting with a certain subject. Are you taking commissions? Or
I do. Yeah, for sure. Like, I think it comes back to kind of growing your social media. A lot of last year I was doing paintings for like various celebrities and that kind of thing, but for the most part it was on like a free or like a gifted or like a small fee basis, but now that I've kind of built it up a little bit, you've kind of got to be willing to say no. And so I am taking requests, but only for, you know, for the right money. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I actually had a customer commission the other day. They couldn't afford an original, but they were like, but it was actually a subject that I would really love to paint. So I offered them, I was like, okay, I know you can't buy the original, but I would love to paint this anyway. Would you buy a large print? And they're like, yes. So I kind of did it that way. And then I took a deposit up front. And so we're just kind of doing it like that. But I wouldn't say I would do that if I didn't want to paint it, you know, but in this case I was like, yes, I want to paint this. And then so that's kind of how we did it.
Yeah, but I think like the only thing that I don't really paint, I've never painted animals. And I imagine there's probably quite a big market out there for that. And I also paint faces up really close at things, so I'm not painting like bodies and all that kind of stuff. but that's just kind of the stuff that I like to paint, sort of thing. So I'm kind of trying to stick to that rather than, just giving in because, or even someone will ask like, oh, I want a painting in this type of style, and it's like, you've got to be kind of confident enough to be like, no, this is my style, this is what I want to do, and kind of, if you like it, then great. If not, then again, maybe find someone else, or whatever.
Yeah.
Be willing to kind of like, okay, cool, fair enough, I understand, and I get it.
Yeah. That takes a lot of confidence too, though, because I feel like a lot of artists who are maybe not full-time quite yet, they'll take anything. They're like, okay, yes, you're going to pay me with this. And so, but I like how you're sticking to your guns and you're like, nope, this is the style I want to be known for. So you don't really do hardly anything else besides the style that you post on Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'll mix stuff up from what I see and that kind of thing. But like, if someone wants something specific, and like you said, it's kind of like, and I feel like I want to do it for whatever reason at the time, maybe just a day, or like, it's something cool and different, then yeah, why not? But like I said, I'm just willing to kind of say no if need be now. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, it kind of, you try and pander to all the requests, and then it might not come off anyway, or do you know what I mean? And it's kind of like,
yeah, for sure. Don't force it. Yeah, I have a couple paintings that I said yes to that I probably shouldn't have, so now I'm like, oh, I gotta do them. Oh man.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, you'll say yes to a painting at the time, like maybe a couple of months in advance and stuff, and it, like, especially like the really big ones, they take forever. Do you know what I mean? And then you're kind of doing it at the time, and you're like, oh god, I wish I wouldn't have done that person a favor or whatever,
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's super nice to talk to you. Do what?
No, I was just going to say, I just see someone ask here, do you think the prints will overtake the original paintings in terms of your income venture?
Oh, yeah.
No, because the originals will always be a lot more expensive. Yeah, you can sell more prints, but they were just at a lesser cost because they're prints. Do you know what I mean? So I think if you get that pricing right, then I don't feel like they should. I think the original should always kind of, be a certain X amount more than the print,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, the idea of a print, it sounds super sexy too, though, because like you're like, I already painted this. All I have to do is print it and ship it, or just take an order.
It's not that straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she knows.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
No, I just wondered what your strategy on TikTok and what you think of it going forward will be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, I was super gung-ho about it for a while, especially mostly because of Gary Vee, and then just seeing how addicted I can be on it so quickly, and how everybody else kind of has the same addiction to it. Like you get on it and you're like, you watch a couple of videos and everybody's reaction is the same the first time. They're like, this is kind of silly, I don't know about this. And then the next day they're like, this is kind of cool, okay, maybe I should do a video. And then they post a video and they get a lot of views. And it's something about the TikTok algorithm. I think the first couple of videos that you do, they're like, they just put it out more, which is so smart. And I mean, and then you're on it, and 45 minutes has gone by, and you're like, you can't get that 45 minutes back. So I'm in a love-hate with it. I think it's so addicting in that sense, because it's just like 10-second videos that are so funny, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna watch another one. Oh, I want to watch another one. And so, but it's been really challenging / fun to create videos for it. I mean, like you and like everybody, I've just been experimenting around, and then I think the past month my views had gone down quite a bit, so I wasn't getting the instant viral. So that kind of took me away from it just a little bit, but I think it has a lot of potential. And I think it's just so cool to watch it. And like you said, the time-lapse videos are the main thing. I'll even, so I like, so I'm running out of video ideas, right? So I'll take a finished painting that, and it's so funny the way your mind can be tricked with video, like, as your profession. So I'll take a finished painting and I'll do just like a close-up shot of me pretending to paint one section of it, and then I'll do a close-up shot of me pretending to paint a different section of it, and then another one, and then you take it back and you see the whole thing, and it looks like you've been painting the whole thing. So I'm like, kind of now I'm like into that, trying to like maybe do a little trickery in that. And
but the ones that you did where you were like just writing on the blank canvas, where you take off the plastics, that went well.
Yeah. Luckily, I found that, and actually, I have a trick to that. So I'll actually write it out with white chalk first, and you can't see the white chalk because I tried it so many times the other way, and it takes me like 5 tries to get it to look really good and really smooth with the drip pens. And I was like, you know what? Like, I draw it out really slowly with white chalk. And then I set the camera up, and then I just do it quickly with that, and done. Yeah.
And last one, what do you think of Instagram now as well?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Just, I'm hesitant to like put a lot of effort into growing my following on Instagram. So like doing paid ads and stuff.
When we spoke before, I remember you saying you'd spent a year at it was like a good period of time. You were like, I'm gonna make Instagram work. But it's working. I'm finding, so after looking through a lot of my just revenue from the past year, I made a list of all the paintings that I've done, or all the murals, and then next to it I put where I got that job, so how I got the job. And a lot of it this year was networking and Facebook, not as much Instagram, and which is interesting. But, however, if you would have talked to me last year, the two of the biggest jobs that I got of the mural jobs were from Instagram. So I'm not counting it out. I think that number by your name does a lot. I think the possibility of the reach does a lot. But this past year, Instagram wasn't a big revenue driver for me. It was more on Facebook, but I do mostly murals. So I'm actually doing a lot more Canvas stuff this January with our 31-day challenge. And so I'm thinking that with the more Canvas stuff will come more Instagram I'm with you. I don't know, just when you post stuff these days, it just gets such a little reach that it kind of, well, it's not worth it, but, you know.
Yeah, and, I follow a couple Instagram influencers kind of a thing, and I was listening to them talk about it, and their take on that, which I'm also developing, or which I'm also taking into, is that, the Instagram algorithm, it works for the viewer, like it's not working against us, it's working for the viewer. So
if
just
you want to see your stuff, then you'll see it.
Yeah, and so like it's time to level up, on Instagram. So making your stuff, like taking your most liked photo or your most liked video or whatever that is, and figuring out what it is people like about that and just redoing it, whether it's like a really big painting, so you do more big paintings, or I don't know. Like, I actually follow some girls who are influencers on Instagram, and they do stuff in their bikinis more, and it's because of the algorithm. They're like, I know that. I mean, even though they're saying a lot of stuff about fitness that's really helpful, they're like, I know if I'm on there in a bikini saying the same stuff as if I were in a t-shirt, I'm gonna get more views. And they're like, it's not about exposing myself, it's about like beating the algorithm. I'm like, man, I'm not about to paint in a bikini, but that's an idea. Like, so just
maybe I should whip the top off and start painting the top bit.
Exactly. Just try it. But yeah, it's really interesting just to I don't know. I feel like everything's like that, though. Everything's like, you got to level up. Everything gets a little harder, and which is why with TikTok, I'm like, man, it's so easy. It's so easy right now. Like, when is it going to change, I
don't know. Maybe I think part of that on TikTok is that, like, some of it does change. I think when you first join, it kind of promotes your stuff more so than when you've been on it for a little bit. I do think that, like, in a year's time, whatever, stuff will begin to slow down again, and it will kind of, it'll get a bit more normal, because at the moment it's kind of crazy, like, what you can post a picture and it get like, hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right.
And I did an experiment. I'm not sure if we were talking about this the last time, but I did an experiment where I posted the exact same video on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and it was just insane, the amount of, I think I got 500 views on Facebook, 1,500 on Instagram, and something like 30,000 on TikTok.
Really?
And so, I mean, it's the exact same content. And I know that content doesn't translate as well, but I mean, it's like
that's the thing. That's the only thing with that platform at the moment. I guess your customer base isn't 14 years old or even younger. Do you know what I mean? But when it does, then kind of you'll be able to take advantage of all that you got there as well. So
for sure. But still, like, even a lot of people will say that, and I'm like, we're in it for the long game, So if a 15-year-old kid is on TikTok and they follow you and they really like get to know you through your TikTok videos, in 5 years we're still going to be artists, and they're gonna really know us by then, and they're going to come to me if they want to learn how to paint, which I do quite a bit, or if they, if we do a print sale or something, they could be a buyer by that time. You never know. And so
it's the same. I think it's the same. With, like, people will be like, "Why are you doing a podcast?" Like, for example, we are doing now, and it's like, but it's for the exposure. I think you said at the beginning there, kind of what you're doing to get your work out there, or how do you sell it. This is all part of, although it may not seem like it, this is all part of selling the work, because from here, I'll take this video, post it up on the other platforms. That will then, do you know what I mean? That might then convert someone who didn't like you before or hadn't seen you, and all that kind of stuff. So there is a bigger picture than just, there's more thought behind it than just me and you having a chat when we can have a chat over the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and for real. And that comes with, like, treating your art like a business, which a lot of people don't get too. And so that's what the whole thing about the Artist Academy is, like, treating it like a business, doing all these things that maybe won't produce a profit today, but in, a month or a year or 5 years or whatever, you're seeing that. And I see that when people are buyers of prints today. Like, I met one guy at a gun show in Missouri. Like, that's like a thing here, that they have like a show for guns and stuff. And I met him 5 years ago, and he'd been following me on Facebook ever since. And now he's bought 2 really big prints from me. Really? And just because he's been following me, just because I post every single week for sure, if not every day. And he sees that, and like, it's us posting every day. It's like a lot of people see the vanity of it and getting the likes and all that, but it's really like every time I post, I think I'm talking someone else into buying from me, but like so discreetly and so slowly. And so it's like you're selling, but you're not. And like the more you show that you love what you do, and the more you have a smile on your face and like, look how much I enjoy this, like it translates, because like, if you smile, I smile. If I smile, you smile. Like, this kind of thing. It's the same thing. People are like, oh, she really loves that. Like, maybe I do love butterflies, and I had no idea.
I think what you're hitting on there is something which is, I guess, quite helpful for people just in general, and I guess for me as well. It's like when you get a follower. Say, for example, someone could be following you for like 2 years, and then they see something, that one thing, and they're like, okay, cool, I'm going to buy a print, or I'm going to buy an original now. And it's like there is no set time to the way someone's going to act. You know what I mean? So you just got to carry on doing it, and then hope that something will eventually come of it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Which is why I have so many random Facebook friends and so many random people follow it. I'm like, all these like weird comments that come in, I'm like, you could be a buyer. I don't know. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you're focusing mostly on Instagram and TikTok right now? Those are the 2 things?
Yeah, I got LinkedIn recently as well. It's not, I don't enjoy it as much. Just as a platform to use, like, it is quite businessy and stuff like that. And I feel like to create content for that platform, you really have to like change. You can't slightly alter what you're doing. Like they want to hear business content, so then you start talking about how to sell art and blah blah blah, which is not so much what I enjoy. It's more kind of doing the art, and that's just a byproduct of it. Do you know what I mean? Like the videos and all that kind of stuff of actually doing it, whereas you kind of create specifically for that. So yeah, those are my main two anyway. At the minute, and I want to do like I said, I'm kind of pushing this kind of stuff as well, like any podcast. I think, you know, jumping on. I don't want to start my own, but to jump on other people's. Do you know what I mean? And kind of engage with a new audience and that kind of thing is like, yeah, the way I see it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, artists connecting with each other, kind of a thing, and that's how I found too. With starting this podcast, like, I'm really just interviewing people that I would like to meet, who I follow on Instagram, you know? So I'm networking with you and with your audience and everybody else's audience. And I found that just starting a podcast is a really great networking thing. And that's networking is how I built my mural career here around Missouri. And so that's just, and I love it. Like, I thought that I wouldn't be able to like talk to a microphone for 30 minutes on a solo episode, but I'm like, just talking away, like, it's about something I like. So yeah, podcasting is great.
Yeah, and I think like it's that's what I'm gonna try to continue to do this year as well. Is kind of network with people that are in that niche. It was very much kind of I was just doing my own thing, and you know, you're beginning to kind of pick up followers and blah blah blah, and you know, and see people that are doing similar things. But this year it'll be kind of like going to events and you know, networking with those kind of right people. And yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. One thing I found for like locally, if you're wanting to build it locally, I don't know if you guys have like these. We have charity banquets to where like a nonprofit will have like an annual charity banquet where they go and they have a dinner for everybody that donates, and then they raise money.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been in, like, I think as well, like, just collaborating in any sense, kind of, now that I am going to have a bit more time to do that kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, like, say yes, and then we'll work it out from there. So, like, any of that kind of stuff, any kind of, like, collaborations, I'm more than, like, I want to do that, do you know what I mean? And I think that it's getting out your comfort zone a little bit and just going for it. I know that for a lot of people that message me anyway, a lot of it is kind of like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough, so I'm not going to put myself out there. But it's kind of like, this is scary. Do you know what I mean? People are going to see this. A lot of people will see this chat, but as scary as it is, I guess you kind of just got to push through it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's weird being on the other side of the camera when I'm usually filming people from the other side. Do you know what I mean? So for sure. Yeah, it's kind of it's daunting, but you kind of just got to do it. Yeah.
And like the more you do it, the easier it'll get. So when I first started doing these interviews and going live, like I would get so nervous. It would like ruin my whole day. Yeah, right. And now I pop on and I'm like, I just woke up. Okay, let's go. Like I don't feel like it's not a big deal to me now. However, I've been doing it for almost a year, and to now my obstacle, like a lot of people are mostly locally, they'll ask me to come speak about my business sometimes, about like just about art or whatever, and like that I'm like, oh god, wait, like speaking in front of like people that are actually there, like I can't see it, nobody's here, nobody's in my room, I can't see their judgmental eyes. And like I don't care. Like I'm here, I don't care. But now my next obstacle is speaking in front of people in a room. Like I like it. Whew, oh my gosh. So, but yeah, it's just
you'd be right. It's just, I guess it's the same thing, but yeah, I can imagine that's maybe more daunting, but yeah, just people seeing you, I guess, is like.
And it's such a strange thing too, because like there's people seeing us right now, and it doesn't bother me at all. But in a room, I'm like, oh man, it's just. But it is. It's the more you do it, the easier it gets, and it's just so hard to take those steps. But it's the people, like in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, 90% of the people won't do it. You know, like they won't take that step to like get better at live video or get better at public speaking and stuff. They won't do it. So, you know, a whole world is opened up to the people who will And I'm like, this is going to lead to something great. Something great's going to happen from my uncomfortableness.
Wow, what's the end goal for you?
The end goal
Mm-hmm.
for like my art career, or like,
Yeah.
so I would like to eventually do painting half the time, and then do art educating half the time. So I want my income to be split up between the two, because I'm finding I love to paint, but I also really love to teach. And so, and I think having the balance in there of just, doing a little computer work sometimes and putting down the paintbrush, it makes me appreciate picking up a paintbrush more, and vice versa. And so I'm finding like having a balance of those two.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Because like, I mean, everybody's like, oh, you get to paint for a living. And I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't want to paint rocks sometimes. Like, that doesn't sound fun. But yeah, what's the end goal for you?
Mine's slightly different. I think I'm going to be changing like the structure of the way I'm doing things. I want to get to like high net worth individuals and kind of sell to like the high society, that kind of thing. So like at those kind of charity balls, and my pieces will kind of are going to get a lot more expensive kind of across the year. So yeah, I'm just trying to get into the kind of the elite and continue painting for celebrities, kind of financiers and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just kind of break that little niche will kind of be amazing.
Yeah. I love it. I love that you have like an ideal customer in mind too, because a lot of people are like, I don't know, I'm just gonna sell to Instagram. I don't know, but you're like, no, like this is this is my customer.
No, there's a bit more of a plan to it. Well, for me anyway.
Yeah, good. Yeah. And that's why you're able to do more painting now and less video, because you're transitioning because you have a plan. And I think it's for 2022, I tell people, I'm like, it's great to like make a vision board or do that, but like have like some kind of like general direction, have a plan, and you have that, which is great.
I think I was speaking to a friend about it the other day as well. Like it's all well and good having a vision board and all that kind of stuff, but if there's got to be some doing. There's got to be a point where you stop looking through the quotes on Insta and all that kind of stuff, and you actually just start doing, whether it is, I don't know, you're going to start a photography business or whatever. You have to actually go out and just do it, I guess. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do with the art and stuff. I'm just doing it and not trying to think too much about where it's going to end up and, oh my God, like this person said no and all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of do, create, and then put it out there and see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I as much as I tell people to make a plan too, it's like you can't even know where you're going to be in 5 years. Like if someone were to tell me that I was painting wildlife murals, I would have been like, what? Okay, sure. But
yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, it was super nice to come on and chat with you. Part 2, and we should do a part 3 in like a year or something.
A year's time, we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, exactly. It's nice to just like catch up. I feel like I know you a little bit better now
there you go.
than last time.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, any last closing remarks? We're gonna get off here. I'm actually gonna pick up a paintbrush today and start painting the rest of the day.
Yeah, likewise. A little trip to the gym and then I'll be doing the same. But no, thanks for having me on. And then we should do a part 3, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your night, I guess. It's 5 or 6 o'clock where you are. And it's almost noon where I am, so I'm just starting my day. So, but yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by the Artist Academy Advanced Membership, a program for artists who want to up-level their art game by taking it from a hobby or a side hustle to a full-time 6-figure art business. With weekly trainings that include step-by-step proven art business techniques, plus painting tutorials from yours truly and other guest artists who are masters in their field, you will be well equipped to learn and grow into the highly skilled and highly profitable artist you're meant to be. I've figured out what it takes to build my own 6-figure art business, and now my heart is set on teaching aspiring artists like you to do the same. It's not hard, but it does require your time and dedication. So if you're up for the challenge, go to advancedmember.com. That's advancedmember.com to learn more. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. If you review our podcast and send a screenshot of that review to me on Instagram, I am at Art by Andrea Earhart. I will then promote your art on my story and tag you as a little thank you for helping me grow this podcast and our Artist Academy community. I have a reach of over 50,000 on Instagram, so this is a little help me to help you incentive. Also, if you ever want your questions answered in real time by myself or featured guests, then just hop on over to facebook.com/groups/Artist Academy to check out the schedule every Tuesday to catch us on live. I'll see you next week.